Let's look at how God does things. The Jews prayed for the Messiah to come for hundreds of years. Finally, God decided that the time was right for the prayer to be answered, and He selected a humble little virgin in Nazareth, Mary, to give the gift of the Messiah to all of us, the baby Jesus. Over 100 years ago, God answered the prayer in the Our Father when Jesus appeared to a humble little Italian girl, Luisa, and gave her the gift of living in the divine will. With this gift to Luisa, he also gave it to all of us. Jesus appeared to Louisa thousands of times and poured graces down on her. He emptied her of everything, made her understand the great evil of the human will, and when she rejected her human will, he gave her the gift of living in the divine will. For over 64 years, Jesus appeared to Louisa. She was confined to a bed the whole time. For years she ate almost no food. She only received the Blessed Sacrament. And although she only attended the first and second years at school, Jesus made her write and write and write about the divine will. Louisa lived into her 80s and wrote 36 volumes. Jesus gave her the name for the volumes, the Book of Heaven, the recall of the creature to the order, to her place, and to the purpose for which she was created by God. Now that God had given Louisa the gift, Jesus taught her the beauty, power, effects, value, and way she should live in the divine will. It was unpleasant for Louisa to write about her very personal conversations with Jesus, but he made her write these conversations down for us. Father, as I sweep to tidy my house, I take all acts of mothers and wives as they clean house for their families. I give them to you with my love for your glory. Jesus also had Louisa write other books, including books about his passion and about the Blessed Mother. These books can teach us what Jesus and Mary did for us inside themselves. We all know what they did on the outside: the birth in the stable, the flight to Egypt, Jesus' preaching, his miracles, his death, his resurrection, and many other outside things. But at the same time, Jesus and Mary were doing these outside things. They were doing many things inside because they had the divine will operating in them. If we learn what they did inside in the divine will, we can do it too. So these books are an important part of the gift. Father, I take all creatures' work and I offer their work with mine to you, with my love and for your glory. Jesus told Louisa that it is important to know the gift. After all, what good is a gift if you don't know what it is? Now we have all these books with Jesus' words explaining this great gift. If more people read these books and are open to the great good God wants to give, the gift will spread and the kingdom will come. Three choices you can make in this world: doing divine will, doing human will, living in divine will. Before the gift of the divine will was given to Louisa, people had two choices: to do God's will or to do their own will. Now we have a third choice: living in God's will. It is important to understand the differences among these three choices. This first boy tries to do God's will but does not have the gift of living in the divine will. The divine will is still in him because the divine will is everywhere, but his own human will animates all that he does. One activity of his human will is to try to decide what God's will is and carry it out. Of course, he does this imperfectly and with great difficulty, because his human will was not created to operate separately from the divine will. Many times he wonders what God wants him to do in different situations, and when he thinks he knows, he often struggles to carry it out. God receives very little glory from his activities. The girl in the middle does her own will. She still has the divine will in her, because the divine will is in all creation, but she has little interest in God or His will. She is more concerned with doing her own thing. Her human will animates everything she does, even if it is against God's will. God receives no glory. Instead, He is offended by this girl's activities. Of course, someone could be like either one of these children at any time. One day they may try to do God's will, the next they may care less. Remember, the human will operating separately from the divine will is weak, changeable, inconstant, and disordered. Now comes the third choice, living in the divine will. The last girl has accepted the gift. Now the divine will and not her human will animates all that she does. She still has her human will, but its only activity is to say yes to the divine will operating in her. The difficulties and struggles of knowing and doing God's will disappear, and the peace of living in the divine will reigns. God is given a perfect and infinite glory, because each activity is carried out by His own will. This is the glory He was meant to receive from all people. If you really want this gift of living in the divine will, God will give it to you. He wants you to have it more than you even want it yourself. He has been waiting and waiting for thousands of years for us to return to Him and live in the divine will, so He can enjoy us and make us happy. And with the gift, we can give Him the glory He deserves. This will bring us back to the original plan of why God created us. Here is how you can get. Here is how you get this great gift. Very simply, you only need to want it, so you ask for it. God, can I live in your divine will?